So, with your authority in human design, this is your inner compass for a hot magnetic body. So, again, the fat life isn't about forcing habits, it's embodying your power. And diet culture makes people override their authority, leading to self sabotage, stress, and body dysmorphia. When we are not following our intuition, we are denying our feelings. Our feelings are also the inner child. It's the feminine aspect of the entire substance of God, right? If God is the ultimate and supreme reality, and there is a masculine energetic of polarized energy of a positive charge, and there is a feminine negative charged energy, and the feminine is associated with feelings, and the masculine is associated with thoughts. If we don't follow our authority, we are in self abandonment. And that is just the overarching umbrella that goes into every aspect of our life, but this is also why diet culture may be stressing you out and leading to body dysmorphia because you're comparing yourself in an uncomparable way, and that never lands in our favor. So, we're going to look at the authority so that you can really start to trust your inner guidance, and you're going to be able to hear your inner guidance more and more and more. The more you get connected with your inner child, the more you are being disciplined and diligent with your brain and heart coherency breathing for 3 minutes a day, so that that way you can actually trust what it is that you're intuitively feeling as your intuition versus, is this my inner child trying to sabotage me? Is this my protective mechanisms from my inner child that like I'm really getting afraid in a way that is not the face your fears type of way? It's really going to give you so much more context to be able to trust yourself. So, as I said before, the authorities are your intuition, and you'll be able to feel this, listen to it even more. The more you clear yourself of the frozen emotions with doing your brain and heart coherency work and doing your inner child integrations. So, in the Google Word document that you have access to in the Fat Life, whether you're in the 6 month group container or the 12-month private container, you have more in depth information about how to really observe and work with these authority types. This is just going to be a pretty big overview. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing so that you don't, spend any time listening to an authority that is not yours. I'll just speak from experience with the emotional authority. So I am the emotional authority that is the solar plexus. It goes by solar plexus or emotional authority, but also being a manifesting generator, I'm also a sacral authority. And so that's one of the nuances with human design and the authority, that if you're a manifesting generator or a manifester, you will have the sacral authority where you have a very clear yes or no of an uh-huh or an uh-uh. However, if you have the caveat of the emotional authority makes perfect sense for how my body has manifested the repressed emotions, and also with the karmic work that I am doing and my awareness of the revolutionary transits. Because with the emotional authority, you actually have three waves where you're able to feel the energetic, the emotions of the cosmos. You're able to feel the energetics or the emotions of the collective. And then you're also feeling your own emotions. So there is a lot going on. So we are very emotional. And with this, like, honestly, like, people can get diagnosed with all different types of mental or emotional issues, but it's really because we have so much energy flowing through our body. And when you have different energy in your body, it actually impacts how you're thinking. Which, if you're doing the brain and heart coherency breathing, that when we are centered in our heart and we are imagining something that would make us feel love, joy, appreciation, kindness, or care, from the outside in, that imagination, the image in our mind, and the feeling that we're having, that we're generating that energy from our emotion, it impacts the brain waves. So if you're an emotional authority and you have a lot of energy coming through you at all times, it is very challenging to function. It's very challenging to figure out what is actually your emotional state based on your own life, your own soul, and then what is actually coming through you as you are designed to help teach people with energetics, with manifestation, with emotions, or just doing karmic work where you are receiving information through energy, you're feeling it, you're interpreting it, and having to discern, is this something that's impactful to me, or is this something that now that I'm feeling it, I'm actually going to do um, alchemical work? I'm actually going to do inner work to transmute this frequency, even though it's not necessarily mine. And so that is like big work that we're doing that makes sense for us to have this information about human design and to be alive during the revolutionary translits. I'm always going to be going back to this because we are in a change of civilization and it's the most incredible thing in the whole wide world. So, as the emotional authority, my mantra is I trust the wisdom of my emotions. Clarity comes when I honor my waves and allow them to guide me toward alignment. So this is really important because when we do have a lot of emotion coming through as the emotional authority, we can't just make a decision based on that emotional state because it is transient. And so I have had to get very skilled in feeling a certain type of way and being like, whoa, this is like really supercharged. Like I better not overcommit because I'm on an energetic high. That is not going to be sustainable if I just stack a bunch of responsibilities on my plate, which I have done that in the past. And then also, when there is an energetic low, instead of feeling like Chicken Little and the sky is falling, it's like, oh, actually, let me do my little Capricorn checklist to see like am I hitting all my marks? Am I doing my 3 daily, non-negotiables with my food? Did I exercise? Did I take time to take a break? Am I hydrated? Have I taken my supplements today? Like I go through a little list to be like, is there anything that is off in my life and in my lifestyle and in my habits that perhaps is causing me to feel this way? Okay, go through that checklist in my head. Did I interact with anybody that was repulsive with my energy? Did I get triggered by someone and I didn't even notice? Okay, let me think about the interactions I've had recently. Okay, well, what have I been listening? What type of music have I been listening to? What kind of commercials have I seen? I get really triggered when I see medication commercials because there's like such a laundry, like half the commercial is talking about the side effects. And I'm like, and everybody's taking these pills because they look really flashy and cute on the commercial. So I have to like really look at what was I just exposed to that I might be feeling this way? And if my checklist comes out clear, basically that like there's nothing in my life to warrant this feeling, I'm like, oh, it's an energetic low. Okay, it means nothing. And then you just have to wait for it to pass. And so then once there is like clarity in these waves, because remember there's three of them that we're having, then it's like, okay, now I can make a decision now that I'm not in an emotional high or a low. So you're really going to be able to understand yourself in a similar way that I just described my understanding, the more that you do your inner work. So you may find as that sacral authority, you're the magnetic creator. You are generating this life force energy all the time, and you have a very clear distinction of a yes or a no. If you're a splenic authority, um, the splenic authority is like it does not make sense, but it's a first gut instinct where you could get this instinct to do something which makes no logical sense to you or anybody observing you, but you're like, I don't care, this is it. And when you trust that, then you're really able to move forward in very powerful ways. If you're the ego or the heart authority, the sovereign powerhouse, this is really encouraging you to have self trust and self worth, reinforcing that wanting something isn't selfish, it's actually soul aligned. And so this really goes into a lot of what women struggle with, especially with their body, and especially in like this really plays into why being goal oriented towards aesthetics, as superficial as it might feel in the beginning, for you to step into how you want to look, for you to do that and the boundaries that you have to create with your time and what you have to face in yourself of how any time in your life you have been told that who you are is not good. When you say I want something else for myself, you have to face all of these limiting beliefs that are going to translate into I am selfish if I want to look this way, or I'm shallow if I want to look this way. So when we move past wanting to be healthy and we move into what is my desired aesthetic, you're going to pull up even more repressed stuff of where you have disowned parts of yourself. If you're the self-projected authority of the authentic voice, this is my voice is my compass. When I speak my truth, my path reveals itself effortlessly. And so this really reminds me of when you're just like going off on a tangent. And if you have been in the manifestation space and you've heard about Abraham Hicks, Abraham is a group of non physical beings that collectively call themselves Abraham. And for years and years and years, they have been channeled through a woman named Esther Hicks. And they call it a rampage where you just start rattling off, I am beautiful, I am hot, I am sexy, I am magnetic, I am wonderful, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am da, da, da. And you just let yourself speak yourself into existence. So you could clearly do mantras like that and just let yourself rattle off, but allow yourself to speak yourself into existence. Like listen to yourself as you talk and really pick up that intuition that way. With your mental authority, the cosmic observer, it helps mental projectors avoid overthinking and instead trust their external reflections for guidance. So this is really cool, and I actually feel that like this is part of my superpowers of being able to see connections with patterns, which is something that people with attachment trauma are able to do, because when you have attachment trauma from ages 0 to 3, you are at such a young age figuring out safety. And so you're very keen to like notice little nuances in behavior and notice um, A plus B plus C actually ends up equaling X, Y, and Z. And so you're able to see what's going on in a different type of way. So it's the same thing for the mental authority, that because the experience of life is the mirrored universe, that we are projecting our energy, and the particles, like actual particles, are reflecting us to us, and how people respond to us and interact with us is also a reflection. It's the mirror. The mental authority is able to really take a very big expansive look of what's going on in their life to then have that intuition. And then the lunar authority, the sacred timekeeper, my decisions are rooted in divine timing. I honor my natural cycle and trust the universe to reveal the way. This is really important for the lunar authority because the lunar authority has a month-long decision making cycle. And the lunar authority is very interesting because you're really on a very expansive time frame. And so you should not feel pressured to have any instant knowing on anything, because that is like your gift, to have like that longevity of time to really take in like a lot of information, and then also like let the divinity of the cosmos play out for you when you're experiencing your life. When you embody your authority, you're going to be able to own your own hotness, because again, you are trusting your inner guidance. So in the fat life, you have eating information where you're learning how to break free from diets, where you're learning how to listen to the biofeedback, what your body actually wants, from like how food feels in your mouth, what type of textures you like, if you like to feel really full from carbs, if you like to feel more satiated from fat, um uh, what type of preemptive cheats you want to have, how you want to incorporate your binge foods, and then also how you actually track your macros in a sane way where you're not going over the top, being super meticulous to drive yourself into decision fatigue. So you have the information necessary to transform your body. You have the actual eating and exercise tools. But now what happens is you get to manipulate the tools in whatever way that works for you. So you may do, for instance, the exercise portion, right? In the exercise portion, you have 3 workouts that are designed to really shape the fulcrum. So your shoulder girdle, your pelvic girdle, and your deep core. It's a bodybuilding workout, but these are all exercises that have a high payoff for your hip function, your shoulder function, and your posture and your bladder. Because women, as we get older, our bladders can actually prolapse completely out of our body. So we're doing deep core work actually for long term health. But the payoff now is that you get the ab lines and your waistline gets snatched. You also have your alignment exercises where you're being very specific with the movement of your joints so that you create a better connection with your body. And that way, when you have a better connection with your body, it's easier for you to sense cravings for food so that you can give yourself what your body wants so that you're not depriving yourself to lead to a binge. And also, when you're doing the alignment exercises, the connection that you're building is something that you're going to have long term with whatever type of athleticism that you want to have. Because if you're like, with me, if you do the 6 months of the group program, if you do the 12 months of the one on one program, and you get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, I feel such an amazing sense of completion in this 6 month period, in this 12-month period. What else do I want for my body? Do I want to try hiking Mount Everest? Do I want to take up snowboarding? Because you have such a better awareness for your body, you're going to intuitively know what you need to exercise, or at least you're going to intuitively know what to Google search, or at least you're going to know to ask me if you continue for another 6 months or another 12 months of like, hey, this is the thing that I want to happen next. How can we formulate my exercise around this? And it's going to be so much easier for you to grasp because you have such a clear connection with your body.